Part 1. The Human Soul in Chains, a journey through suffering, survival, and meaning. What if I told you that even in the darkest corners of human history, in places where hope dies, where suffering is constant, and where death hovers in the air, even there, you could still find purpose? What if I told you that meaning is not something we find in easy times, but something we create in the most painful ones? Welcome to the world of man's search for meaning, the unforgettable story of Dr. Viktor E. Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust and emerged not with bitterness, but with a message that continues to change millions of lives. This isn't just a book about suffering. It's a book about how the human spirit can rise above it. It's about how meaning can save us when nothing else can. In this video, we'll take a deep, detailed look into Frankl's incredible journey. From the horrors of Auschwitz to the healing power of logotherapy, we'll break down the psychology, the philosophy, the lessons, and the hope that make this one of the most powerful books ever written. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Camp as the Classroom of the Soul. In 1942, Viktor Frankl was a successful psychiatrist living in Vienna. He had just completed his manuscript on a new therapy model, something he called logotherapy, based on the idea that life is primarily driven by the search for meaning. But then the Nazis arrived. Frankl, his wife, and his parents were arrested and deported to Theresienstadt, the first of several concentration camps he would survive. Eventually, he was transferred to Auschwitz, the deadliest of them all. The selection. The moment they arrived at Auschwitz, prisoners were lined up and faced the infamous selection. A Nazi officer would casually point left or right. To the left, immediate death. To the right, temporary survival through forced labor. Frankl was sent to the right. His wife and parents were not. In just a few hours, he lost his family, his freedom, and the manuscript that contained his life's work. But strangely, he would later write, "I had to undergo and overcome the loss of my inner hold. Then I had to find a new meaning in life, to rebuild from the ground up." Chapter 2. Understanding the Psychology of a Concentration Camp. Frankl's background as a psychiatrist allowed him to observe, in real time, the psychological transformations of people under extreme suffering. He outlines 3 phases every prisoner went through. 1. Shock, initial admission. The first few days in the camp were filled with disbelief. People couldn't process what was happening. Even as they were stripped naked, shaved, and tattooed, their minds refused to believe this was real life. Many lived in a dreamlike state, as if they would wake up any minute. Frankl notes that this shock phase also included a kind of delusional hope. Prisoners told themselves, "Surely this is the worst of it, things will get better." But they rarely did. 2. Apathy, emotional death. After weeks or months, prisoners entered a stage of emotional numbing. Frankl writes that the horrors became routine: beatings, starvation, death. He says, the prisoner who had lost faith in the future, his future, was doomed. They learned to walk past dead bodies without flinching. Hunger, disease, and cruelty became normal. Hope faded. But Frankl noticed something strange. Some men, even under this crushing weight, still tried to comfort others. They gave away their last piece of bread. They encouraged fellow prisoners. These people, Frankl says, had found meaning, even here. 3. Depersonalization, after liberation. When the camps were finally liberated, many prisoners were not overjoyed. They were numb. The world had moved on, but they had changed forever. Some struggled to feel human again. Others felt betrayed by freedom, expecting it to solve everything, only to find it brought confusion and pain. Chapter 3. What Keeps a Man Alive. Frankl observed that survival wasn't about strength or health. Many strong men gave up and died. Others, thin and weak, lasted for years. Why? Because those who survived often had something to live for. a loved one, a dream, a purpose. For Frankl, it was his deep love for his wife. He would think about her constantly, even though he didn't know if she was alive. One day, during forced labor in a frozen field, he looked up at the sky and imagined her face. For the first time in my life, I saw the truth. That love is the ultimate and highest goal to which man can aspire. Even when everything is taken from a person, one thing remains: the freedom to choose your attitude. This belief became the foundation for his therapy. Continued in Part 2.